Hello and welcome to Top Stories today. Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, has said people of the state should expect accelerated growth and development with the legal challenges over. The UN's top court is to decide whether to issue emergency measures ordering Israel to halt its operations in Gaza. In sports, President Bola Tinubu has urged the Super Eagles to improve their performance and do better in the final stages of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. It is a lovely Friday. Thank God it's Friday. A brief welcome to you here on News Hour with me, Chioma Vic Chukwemeka. We begin in Rivers State, where the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has said people of the state should expect accelerated growth and development with the legal battles challenging his elections now over. Fubara stated this during a statewide broadcast this morning, Friday, following the affirmation of his electoral victory. Fubara dedicated his victory expressing gratitude to God for emerging victorious as he dedicated his victory to the nation and, of course, to the people of Rivers State. He reflected that the litigation experience was a tortuous journey that had now validated the choice and eventually confirmed the mandate freely given to him by the electorate. Moving away from that, the defense headquarters in Abuja said on Thursday that no fewer than 94 terrorists were killed by troops in various operations conducted across the northern part of the country between January 17 and 25. It said the operations led to the arrest of 171 terrorists in the north as well as 43 suspected oil thieves and the recovery of 485 million naira worth of crude oil in the south-south. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this in Abuja on Thursday while briefing journalists on the activities of troops within the period under review. He said troops recovered 168 assorted weapons and 2,755 assorted ammunition during the various operations in the north. Away from that, the federal government, through the Ministry of Interior, has disclosed its readiness to transform citizenship management and business administration in Nigeria. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, on Thursday in Abuja made this known during the unveiling of a new handbook on citizenship administration in Nigeria. He noted that if the provisions in the document are followed, it would help develop the country. The handbook prescribed conditions for the acquisition of citizenship by foreigners and citizens born outside Nigeria by Nigerian parents, among others. Tunji-Ojo added that the document was capable of transforming the management of citizenship and business administration in Nigeria like never before. Away from that, we move right now to Bayelsa State, where the Bayelsa State government has said it is working on plans to make the teaching and learning of the Ijaw, French and Chinese languages, as well as science and mathematics, a priority in public schools in the state. It stated that the essence of emphasizing the teaching of the three languages and the core science subjects, including mathematics, was to prepare and equip children to take full advantage of career opportunities in those subjects. The Deputy Governor, Lawrence Eruwa-Jabo, disclosed this during a courtesy visit by the state chapter of the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria in Government House in Yenagoa. He also explained in a statement issued by his senior special assistant on media, Mr. Dobara Atasi, yesterday, Thursday, that the growing economic influence of China in global affairs as a major state actor in world trade and commerce justified the inclusion of Chinese as a subject in the school curriculum, especially in schools in Bayelsa State. Away from that story, the Director General, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Professor Ayo Omotayo, has said the lack of national priorities was responsible for Nigeria's developmental challenges. He noted that the absence of a framework has made political office holders in the country set their different agendas for the country. Omotayo added that anyone thinking privately or individually would not by themselves define national priorities because they would define their problems as national priorities. He spoke at the annual conference of the Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria with the theme, Resetting National Priorities, the Role of Strategic Management, which happened yesterday, Thursday, in Abuja. In Anambra State, determined to achieve zero maternal mortality in the state, the Anambra State government has commenced a training on the use of anti-shock garments in cases of postpartum hemorrhage in women. The training was organized by the State Ministry of Health. Postpartum hemorrhage, otherwise known as bleeding after delivery, has been identified as one of the major causes of maternal mortality in women across the state, and the training was attended by doctors and nurses from Mission and general hospitals in the state. In an opening speech, the Anambra State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afam Obidike, said that in order to put to an end cases of death during delivery, which he said was noticed to be one actually on the high side, especially in the hard-to-reach areas like the riverine areas, Governor Chukwuma Soludo approved the first procurement of 120 anti-shock garments for Mission and general hospitals across the state, in addition to free antenatal and delivery in public hospitals in the state. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Obidike, said that more of the kits are being procured presently by the primary health care centers in all the 326 wards in the state to ensure that no woman die during delivery, and expressed happiness that the trainees were able to garner knowledge on the administration of the garment to save lives. He urged the participants to ensure that they stepped down the training to other members of their facilities, and also added that the training will be continuous, even as he appreciated Governor Chukwuma Soludo for leaving no stone unturned in ensuring quality healthcare services to Anambra. Now, earlier, while training the participants on the courses and how to control postpartum hemorrhage and the use of anti-shock garments in saving the life of women during childbirth, especially any emergency where loss of blood is involved, the State Coordinator of Reproductive Health, Anambra State Ministry of Health, Dr. Uju Okoye, demonstrated how to put on the anti-shock garments on patients. We'll take a break right now. When we return on the news, Alabama has executed convicted murderer Kenneth Eugene Smith with nitrogen gas. These and other stories will come your way after this timeout. Please do stay with us. Welcome back to News Hour. We move right now to USA, where Alabama has executed convicted murderer Kenneth Eugene Smith with nitrogen gas. The first time the method of capital punishment has been used globally. Smith, of 58, lost to final appeals to the Supreme Court and won to a federal appeals court, arguing the execution was a cruel and unusual punishment. In 2022, Alabama tried and failed to execute Smith by lethal injection. He was convicted in 1989 of murdering a preacher's wife, Elizabeth Sennett, in a killing for hire. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, Smith is the first person to be put to death using pure nitrogen gas anywhere in the world. Quite interesting. Moving away from that, the UN's top court is to decide whether to issue emergency measures ordering Israel to halt its operations in Gaza. The session of the International Court of Justice, ICJ, today, Friday, is part of a case brought by South Africa, alleging that Israel is committing genocide. Both countries testified when the case opened 2 weeks ago. Israel has vehemently rejected the allegation. A ruling against Israel is not enforceable by the court, but would be politically significant. More than 25,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children, have been killed and tens of thousands injured, according to the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza, since Israel began its offensive, triggered by an unprecedented attack on Israel by the group. Away from Israel, we move to China, where China has warned its citizens against exotic beauties, seeking to lure them into the hands of foreign spy agencies. The Ministry of State Security said a Chinese man, Li Shi, went to a nightclub while on an overseas trip and was later blackmailed by foreign spies. The ministry's WeChat post titled read, "Hunting for Beauty, You May Become the Prey." Analysts say such warnings reflect a sense of insecurity among China's leaders. The Ministry of State Security, which functions as China's intelligence and secret police agency, has increasingly been raising the alarm among citizens about the dangers of foreign spies. Away from China, we come right now to Mali in Africa, where Mali's military rulers ended a 2015 peace deal with Tuareg rebels in the country's north, a move that could further destabilize the Sahel nation. In a statement read on state television, the junta spokesman Colonel Abdoulaye Maiga said it ended the deal due to a change in the posture of certain signatory groups, an act of hostilities by the lead mediator on the deal, Algeria. The peace agreement was seen as key to maintaining stability in the country, as Tuaregs had carried out a violent act against the central government since 2012. There's not been any reaction from the Algerian government. The Tuareg group said it was not surprised by the decision. Last month, the group suspended their participation in the deal pending the organization of a crisis meeting with the Malian government on neutral ground. Away from Mali, we move to Kenya, where the Kenya's Court of Appeal has declined to suspend an order that had blocked the government from implementing a controversial housing levy. The government had requested the court to allow it to continue deducting the monthly levy from salaried Kenyans pending the hearing of appeals challenging the levy's introduction. President William Ruto last June signed the Finance Act legislation that has proved unpopular with many after introducing a 1.5% housing levy payable each month by both employers and employees. But in November, the High Court ruled that the levy was unconstitutional as it had been introduced without a proper legal framework and was only imposed on salaried Kenyans. It therefore barred the government from implementing the levy. The government says the levy will facilitate the development of affordable housing programs for low-income earners. We'll take yet another break right now. When we return, we move into the interesting world of sports and we see exactly what's the update on AFCON. Kindly stay with us. Welcome back to News Hour. Now to sports. Africa Cup of Nations host AFCON. Ivory Coast have failed in a bid to appoint Hervé Renard as coach for the remainder of the tournament after the French Football Federation FFF refused to release him. The FFF confirmed to AFP that they were not willing to loan the 55-year-old who is currently the coach of the France women's team. Talks had taken place between the Ivorian Football Federation and their French counterparts in an attempt to bring in Renard midway through the AFCON. Renard enjoys great popularity in Ivory Coast after leading the team to the 2015 African title. He also won the competition with Zambia in 2012 and has managed Morocco and Angola. We're following up on the story and we'll keep updating you. Finally, in sport, President Bola Tinubu of Nigeria has urged the Super Eagles to improve their performance and do better in the final stages of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. Tinubu's message was through the Minister of Sports, John Eno, who spoke to the players from Abuja via Zoom on Wednesday night in Abidjan. According to Eno, the president was not too impressed with the showing of the team during the group stage. Responding, the team captain Ahmed Musa thanked the sports minister but also called on the president to come to see them play live, saying it would serve as a motivation to the players. The Super Eagles will play the indomitable Lions of Cameroon in the last 16 of the tournament on Saturday at the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium in Abidjan. And this is wishing the Super Eagles of Nigeria the very best of luck. With that story, we'll wrap it up on today's News Hour. Let's recap. Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, has said people of the state should expect accelerated growth and development with the legal battle challenging his elections now over. The UN's top court is to decide whether to issue emergency measures ordering Israel to halt its operations in Gaza. Finally, in sports, President Bola Tinubu has urged the Super Eagles to improve their performance and do better in the final stages of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. And that's it On News Hour, on behalf of the entire editorial news and production crew, I am Chioma Victor. Stay with us on TV Sapienza. It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Whatever it is you do, kindly ensure that you are security conscious, be on the alert, and do have a smashing and productive weekend ahead of you. Stay with us and enjoy the rest of our transmission this weekend. Good afternoon from here.